So, Silas, like way before I liked anime, I like superheroes and like comic books and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then, also kind of related to anime, something I really liked was tokusatsu. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
It's like the Japanese live action kind of stuff where you get like somebody with all kinds of superpowers and they climb into a big mech and they can fight these oversized villains. The enemies are usually aliens from another planet who want to destroy the Earth. And you just like cheer for them and they got like their really colorful costumes and they have like powers where they can slap the wrists and things like that.
Oh, you mean Power Rangers?
No, I don't mean Power Rangers. Not that there's anything wrong with Power Rangers. I really like Power Rangers, but I'm talking about turning back the clock. Stan Lee was involved in a tokusatsu series in Japan.
What?
Yes, Stan Lee took Spider-Man to Japan where we had the legendary
Spider Rangers!
No! The Japanese Spider-Man, also known as Supaidaman.
Oh.
And he had a big mecha called Leopardon.
Leopardon? It was
Leopardon.
A leopard?
I don't know. It was a robot. It was a mecha.
Oh.
Maybe it was Leopardon.
Oh.
Is it Leopardon or Leopardon?
I think it's Leopardon.
Well, in South America, they call it Leopardon.
Oh.
I've never been to South America. I'm making that up. But I have been to the American South, where I know for a fact they call it Leopardon.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I have something really cool to show you about Supaidaman, which is what I love to call him instead of Japanese Spider-Man. And I know I'm, exaggerating a little bit when I say it. It's just so much fun. Say it with me. Can you say it with me? 1, 2, 3. Supaidaman. Supaidaman.
Supaidaman.
Yes.
So just Supaidaman.
Supaidaman. Look what I got. Can you tell everybody what we got here?
We got the Supaidaman Marvel Legends 60 Amazing Years figure, and I can't wait to review this thing.
I am so excited. There were 2 figures that were announced that I just couldn't wait to get my hands on. One of them was an actual 1970s Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man that had like the crazy eyes that looked like colanders.
It was fake.
It was fake?
Yeah, that part was fake.
And,
I thought it was.
but guess what's not fake?
What?
Supaidaman! So we got Supaidaman, and I can't wait to open this up. But before we open it up, what do we need to do? You do this a lot more than I do. Do we talk about the box?
Yep, absolutely.
First thing I want to ask you is how do you feel about Marvel Legends not having a window?
I hate it.
I think I'm with you on that. Why did they do away with the window on the Marvel Legends packaging? Because I love the window where I can actually see what I'm getting. And when you've got the window, if you're like me and sometimes you just like to display it as a collector, I don't even want to take it out of the box. But what's the fun in displaying a box without a window? Why did they get rid of the window?
Because they wanted to use less plastic. But there are some upsides to this, though, like less pollution, duh. And then it's also more collector friendly because then you don't actually see the figure if it does have any defects.
Oh my goodness, when did you get so smart? I never even thought about the environment. But you know what would be good for the environment? A glass window. It would just up the price to $400.
Or 400,000, either one.
400,000 yen.
Probably.
Well, should we talk about the box, the packaging that has no window so you can't see the figure through it? But it does have some cool stuff. Like you've got the key thing that differentiates Supaidaman from Spider-Man is the wrist.
Yep.
So you can see we've got that unit on the wrist. The web slinger on the wrist is the biggest thing to me, and it's not like a Ben Reilly wristband. Because, Ben Reilly, it's on one wrist, not on both. And he had it on both wrists, right?
And his feet.
And Supaidaman just has it on the wrist. And then, of course, you got this beautiful logo here at the bottom, which I imagine says Supaidaman. I don't know what else it might say. Do you know what it might say? It might say Leopardon. Maybe that's Japanese for choking hazard, contains small parts.
Why don't we just look up here and see if it matches?
It kind of matches, but this has more style to it. It's actually the exact same thing. Yes, it says Supaidaman. There's even a hyphen because, Spider-Man has a hyphen. Oh, that is so cool. Supaidaman. And, they give us a picture of him in his pose on the back, which you can see here. And it shows a little bit of the accessories. We got a couple of alternative hands.
Some webs and a web line.
Yeah, webs and a web line. It's got a really cool, like, animated image here on the side.
Like that one. And then
there's a better look at that on the side, yeah.
And on the top, which is what makes this line special, is that it says 60 amazing years for Spider-Man being 60 years old.
So
And
that means he was from 1962. I know my math, and I know Amazing Fantasy.
And that also means that a 62-year-old is still doing flips and inhuman actions in general.
So is that enough talk? Can we get into the box? Because sans window. Do you know what sans means, S-A-N-S?
I know it's a font.
No. Sans is part of sans serif or sans serif.
Sans Undertale?
Sans means without. So the font sans serif are fonts without flourishes, which are called serifs. But that's a discussion for another day. Comic Sans, like Comic Sans serif. But they tick off the serif. Yes, Comic Sans, the most beloved font created for Watchmen.
Oh.
Yes, my favorite comic.
It would have been created for comics in general.
It was created for Microsoft. All right, you want to do the honors of opening this bad boy up?
Absolutely.
So let's go ahead and open it up, then we'll get a close-up after it's open.
Okay. Take it outside. And more cardboard. We don't get the figure. Just kidding. Oh,
it's wrapped in like silk or something. What's it wrapped up in? I've never seen it wrapped in paper like that. Like, it is really kind of cool because this does protect it. And you know, normally, like when I got my last, it wasn't a figure, it was a statue of Deku. It was all in plastic. And once again, they're cutting down on their plastic and they're giving us what I would compare to like, almost like what the wrapper you would get around a candy bar or something almost.
Yep. Okay.
So this really is environmentally conscious. I'm going to go ahead and get some of these things out while you get out the main figure.
Here he is, coming feet first. And he ripped through the paper. Never mind.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And a great thing he doesn't have anything wrong with the paint.
I know. We're worried because without the window, you don't know what you got till you open it. The foot's a little sticky, but we'll get into more detail. So here is the beautiful Supaidaman. So we're going to go ahead and take a more close-up look.
Yep.
So should we take a look at the articulation?
I think we should take a look at the paint first.
Okay, so let's walk us through. You walk us through the paint. Show me any errors, imperfections, or anything you kind of like about it.
All right. So first off, I really like the shade of blue and the shade of kind of orange that they used.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's supposed to be red, but back
but
when
it's
it was
very
on the
TV. Yeah, it's very television accurate.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't remember if we mentioned this or not. There's an excellent documentary on Disney Plus about Japanese Supaidaman that you can go watch and see what he actually looked like on the live action if you're not familiar.
And then this little wristband here, it is off. You can, if you take off the hand, if you really wanted to.
Oh, I thought it was part of the arm. That is so cool.
Yep. And you can maybe get a custom head of the Nick Hammond one and put it on here so he could also be Nick Hammond's Spider-Man.
That would be cool. And something I like about the head, it's a subtle detail, and I don't know if you have any other Spider-Man to compare him to, but the head is kind of bulbous, and that actually matches with the television show because the guy had a fair amount of hair, so when they put the cowl or the face mask over it, it did kind of like seem a little more full than you normally see on a comic book Spider-Man. And I thought that was a really nice touch. It's going really the extra step to try to be television accurate.
Yep. And I like this spider very much like Steve Ditko's spider. He also has white bottoms of the shoes because that's how he was like in the show. I really like that. The spider on the back, very accurate. This little dip right here on the waistband, that's also really accurate because the other Nick Hammond Spider-Man, I'm pretty sure it just curved back up instead of going up and down like that. And overall, really nice paint, except for a few things. I noticed...
And before we go into the flaws, we had sort of heard rumors about some kind of bad results when Marvel Legends switched to the new packaging and you couldn't see the figure. People talked about paint errors and just general dissatisfaction with the visual appeal of the character, and they couldn't see through the window to see that was there before they bought it. But we got pretty lucky because overall, we got some minor nitpicks, but I don't think we would have even seen those if we did have a window until we got it out and inspected it.
Yeah, at least it's not as bad as the Venom that was missing an eye.
Yes, definitely not.
And then, so first off, see on the hand right here, there is a bit of gappage in between the fingers. And then, I'm going to make them look up so you can see it better. There's a bit of disalignment and gappage on his little neck piece. I guess you could just say he put the mask on wrong instead of putting it.
And
on
you know
his
what? I
shoulders.
bet if you went over the old television show with the fine-tooth comb, you'd probably find that there was a little misalignment at times between the separate pieces of the costume. I mean, it's just unavoidable.
One thing I do want is I wish that they would have added a little zipper flap on the back.
Oh, that would have been unbelievable.
That would have been funny.
Now, I don't like where that hole is
It's-
because it kind of messes up the paint on the spider. But is that universal on Marvel Legends figures?
Not on all of them. For some reason, they just started putting them back, and I think they did that so that it's easier to use other companies' stands.
And
with
I think
Marvel Legends.
particularly for a figure like this that you might want to have in the air swinging or flying, it's kind of nice because you can use those floating stands with those.
Yep. But most of the time, it doesn't fit, and you have to use a clamp stand.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, the
It's either
clamp
too
stands are
small
nice.
or-
The clamp stands are nice, and I
Yep.
like them. And they're also nice because you don't have to put any more holes in the figure. So I've got no problem with the clamp stands. I mean, particularly when they're clear
Clamps.
plastic.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the accessories, and then we're going to get on to the articulation. So first, he comes with just 2 random web pieces. You can't really do much with these. I mean, I guess you could just tape them to a wall or hook it onto the end of this one. And speaking of which, they have been using this ever since the first Amazing Spider-Man movie. Just get a new one already, please.
They need a new web string.
Yeah, like make a bendy wire one.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, I got one with the Mezco figure. All right, and then next, he has 2 fists, just 2 standard Marvel Legends fists, but colored and painted to match Supaidaman here. And that's about it for the accessories. So now let's get on to the articulation. You want to do some?
All right, so I'm going to be a little gentle because I'm not as used to doing the articulation as you are. But I'll start with the head, and it's kind of a bulbous head, so I don't expect it to have a whole lot of flexion. Yeah, and with this, I mean, you see, we go back about there. The head's a little bulbous. The chin keeps it. So there's not a lot of head movement back and forth, but it rotates 360 degrees,
Is
no
there any
problem.
tilt in it?
It doesn't really have much tilt. It's
Aw.
really pretty much just front and back, and then it rotates, like The Exorcist. No problem, 360 degrees. The shoulders are stiff, but they do move. Now, out of the box, it is cold weather where we live at, so it did get a little stiff probably in transit. If we warmed it up a little bit, it might have been a little easier to move. But still, we're going out there to right at 180, which is good. You can do a nice T-pose with 180, and a T-pose is a nice victory celebration for Japanese Supaidaman when he's beating the evil aliens and with the help of Leopardon. He has a double jointed elbow. Do you want to go ahead and take over for that?
Yep. Double jointed elbow right here. Pinless. Beautiful. All figures should be pinless at this point, but honestly, I don't mind if they are or not. I just prefer it. And next, he has ab crunch. Goes down to about here. Not very much, sadly. I wish he could have had more, since he's Spider-Man, but now he just looks like it's a rainy day and he wasn't
I
waking up
love
that
that, though. I like that wilted flower look.
Yeah. And then don't expect much back. You're not going to get him into a super crazy dodging pose, like if someone's overhead swinging or anything. Next, he has waist swivel, turns all the way around, all the way back. And then his hips go out to about here, which is actually pretty good. Double knees. Oh, wow. Kicks himself in the butt easily.
Those are some darn good knee joints.
Yep. And then he has... Oh, I didn't do it. He has up, down, and then pivot on ankles.
Just as a matter of principle, I always feel like Spider-Man figures should have the best and the most limber articulation of any action figures.
I think that they shouldn't be stiff, but they shouldn't be too loose either. Like, they can hold a pose without, like, falling down, or it won't be, like, hard to make them hold a pose.
And I'm a little bit more of a statue person, and you're more of the action figure person, so I can be forgiving on the articulation. But you're right, if they won't stand, that gets really frustrating. And I've got some figures that are a little top heavy, and you just have to kind of hope that nobody like slams the door or they're going to fall over.
Yeah.
I don't know, anything else to say about this awesome figure? Do you want to do some comparisons?
I would absolutely love to do some comparisons.
So we're going to see how Japanese Supaidaman stacks up to a few other figures. Go ahead and get us started with that, Silas.
All right. So first, I have probably one of my favorite figures, the black suit Spider-Man from the retro wave.
That's a great figure, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, that really looks like McFarlane. But that's not McFarlane Toys, but it really looks like his art.
I think they're about the same height. Yeah, they're about the same height. Next, I have the SH Figure Arts other black suit Spider-Man, but from the movies.
Which movie is that one from?
No Way Home.
Okay.
Which kind of makes sense, you know, the whole multiverse thing going. Next, I have Dragon Ball Superhero Goku. Oh god. He almost died.
Great movie, by the way, Dragon Ball Superhero.
Yeah.
I saw the movie even though I never did a review video.
And then, last but not least, I have the beautiful Ryan Reynolds. Except he's not beautiful in this version.
Well, I want to take a closer look at something. I want to put some of these to the side, and I want to take the movie Spider-Man and Japanese Supaidaman, and I want to bring them a little bit closer here to the camera and talk about this because I like the size difference because I can almost see like a grown Peter Parker versus a small Tom Holland, and I like that size differential there.
And then again, the SH Figure Arts are kind of small though, but overall is still pretty.
Yeah, I shouldn't have a black shirt behind a black suit, but anyway, if you put that against my pale skin, I think people get a good idea. But I really like the two of them together, and I like the idea of a multiverse where the Japanese Supaidaman and Tom Holland are hanging out. And I think that's a little too tall on the Japanese Supaidaman, but I still think that Tom Holland would be smaller.
Yeah.
Any other comments to make here before we wrap up the video?
I love how it's pinless. I'm thankful that we didn't get ahead with no paint on it whatsoever. But I do hate how some of the paint is kind of off. But it's overall a great figure, and I do recommend if you want to take your chances.
And I'm going to say, I've got a few action figures, not nearly as many as you do. Mostly I've got statues, but this is one of my favorite figures ever. And I can't wait to put this up. And I'm going to put this with my anime collection and not with my Marvel DC superhero collection. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that would be fun.
All right. Well, with that, I'm going to say I'm proud of you for watching anime. I'll talk to you later. You might want to check out Silas's channel. Do you want to tell him the name of your channel?
It's just White Raven. It's pretty good. I do videos almost exactly like this, reviewing figures, but
and
just a slightly different.
You can go over there and see Silas and I work together on an Eren Yeager video. We work together on a Muzan statue video. So yeah, go check out White Raven, and of course, stick around here on Anime Dad. And once again, I'll talk to you again soon. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who supports the channel on Patreon. It really means a lot to me. If you might be interested in Patreon perks like early access to videos, uncut reaction videos, ad-free videos, and the opportunity to vote on which anime will be covered in the future, then click on the link in the video description. Thank you.